All right, welcome back everyone to Collective Intelligence Block Party number 21. And we're a little late starting, sorry about that. And welcome, Bret, and thank you so much for your patience, Bret, and everyone. Bret, please take it away. A world without money. We are on the edge of our seats. What you got?
All right, thank you, Jamin. Thank you, everyone who chooses to be here. I really appreciate it. I'm just gonna do a screen share here. And let me make sure. Do you see the screen share?
Yes, we do.
All right. I'll try presentation mode and see if it works. And then if not, I'll go out.
So far, so good.
All right. There we go. So far, so good, he says. All right. Okay. So we are gathered to do a little bit of an experiment, what I call a co-create-a-thon instead of a hackathon. And the subject is, oh yes, Jamin, please just, check questions or admin room, or if people hop into the call, maybe just message saying, well, give us a chance to bring them in or something like that.
Sure,
whatever.
sure. I got it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is a project called World Without Money. It is an alternate reality game, things I'm going to explain quick. And it's a prequel to a bigger project that I'm sourcing and coming up with called Togetherland.
Hey, Bret, I hate to interrupt. But we're getting some kind of garbling on your microphone. We can hear what you're saying, but there's just some friction there. Just wanted you to know. That's all. Back to you.
Okay. Let me just turn it down a little notch or something. Is it any better now?
You know, it's not really bad. It's got a little garble, and since this is your introduction, I just wanted you to know that it sounds like it's a kind of a frictional, staticky kind of air current something with the microphone. That's all. Like, it's not a huge deal.
All right. Well, if it gets it gets unbearable, have someone shout out on their side.
Oh, I definitely will.
I'm doing.
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
I'm doing the same thing I normally do, so I'm not sure what's happening because it's my normal setup. All right, so today I'm going to do a tiny bit of a presentation, and we're going to be talking a little bit and hopefully doing a little bit of a creative exercise together for some of us who are interested in doing that. All right, I'm just working on my. Oh. Okay, so again, this is an alternate reality game that is being developed called World Without Money. We're not going to do 2 hours today. For those of you who want to take part in the exercise in a little bit, we're going to be creating some content depending on what you love to do. And if you're not interested in that, maybe we'll have a breakout room, or some of us will stay here and have a little bit more conversation on a topic while other people get creative. This is an experiment for me. These co-create-a-thons are new for me to try to facilitate and sharing this project. So I'm just asking everyone to please bring some patience, curiosity, generosity, and creativity for the next 48 minutes or an hour or so. So the first thing we're going to do is jump right in before you guys know anything or have any context. And I want to go around in a circle asking each of you, again, not having any context or knowing anything, to each share a couple sentences, and please really try to keep it brief. And the question is, what does a world without money mean to you? So again, no one is ever obligated to answer these things. So if anyone would like to jump in, you're more than welcome. What does a world without money mean to you? Does anyone like to share?
I do.
Go ahead.
To me, it means letting go and having freedom and not being defined.
Thank you very much. Anyone else like to share?
To me, it just means being in touch with reality.
Thank you.
I would say for me, it would mean simply cooperation.
And for me, it would mean a world without private property ownership or domination, either humans dominating nature or humans dominating other humans.
And for me, a world without money means freedom. It means freedom of expression, freedom of sharing, gifting, collaboration, creativity, imagination, love.
And for me, I think it, oh, I'm sorry. Who's next?
My son Gavin wanted to say something.
So to me, it means equality and no one been able to hold more than anyone else.
And to me, I think
Thanks, Gavin.
it's more like less oppression. So I guess that falls under freedom.
Thank you.
It means
Anyone else?
a quantum economy that is really a shift out of a duality-based competitive economy into one that takes into account all of the different variables so that they play into it, enhance each other throughout the process.
Thanks. Thank you, Jay.
A world without
Anyone
money.
else?
A world without money, to me, means an opportunity for us to get back to what was intended when we began as a species, and an opportunity for us to listen inside for what will work for all of us, rather than it being dictated by the ones who have. Thank you.
For me,
Anyone else? By the way, Jamin, I'm looking at, I'm sorry. I'm just saying I'm looking at a single screen. I can't see everyone, so people can help me out.
Actually,
People have their hands up or whatnot. Go ahead, Sharon.
Brett, why don't you go off screen share and then we can all see each other.
Okay.
And then just resume screen share whenever you feel like it.
Yep, I'm getting there. Oh, go ahead, Sean. I'm just having trouble. I've hidden my floating panel and I can't find it.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Cool. I think for me it means seeing the wholeness of things, the wholeness of an individual, the wholeness of the world, and that allows us to value beyond what we've made money to be as value. And so as we can recognize the different ways of exchanging the varying aspects of our wholeness, we can create that kind of world.
Cool. Last but not least, Jackie, if you're listening and you do want to share, go ahead. If I don't hear from you, I'll just continue. Okay, she's probably just listening or off doing something
Brett,
else. Okay.
I've got an ooh.
Yep.
I've got an ooh. Okay. A world without money means finally putting down the cards. It's like we're all constantly playing this game of poker. I go up and I see, okay, Jay, okay, what can I leverage and get out of Jay? Jay, trade. No, this, that, negotiation. It's like, can we stop playing this damn card game already and actually get back to life? Like real life, like loving each other and co-creating, nurturing, being the caretaker species, vegetable gardens everywhere.
Right.
Feasts at every meal, singing at every meal, loving and praying each other. Can we stop playing poker already? I'm getting sick of your damn poker face. Your poker face. How's that song go? Your poker face, your poker face. Anyway, back to you, Brett. Thanks.
Danny's got her hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that, like, if money is just energy and it's here to serve, it's not the medium itself that's inherently bad. It's our form of economy that's corrupt. It's the way we abuse it. It's everything we put on it. It's everything we attach to it. It's all the corruption that we use it for. So, as a method of exchange, pure and simple, there's nothing wrong with money. It's our whole system of so-called economy that has to shift.
Could I jump in on that one, Brett? Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure.
Danny, I'm going to try this one out on that point. I used to believe.
Well, hold on, Melissa.
Right.
Melissa.
Yeah.
Maybe just keep it brief because I don't want to get into a philosophical, because everyone has a different opinion, by the way, what money even is.
Yeah.
Like it's an endless rabbit hole, really.
Okay. I won't.
Go ahead.
Comment. No, it's fine. I'll wait. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks. So I'm just putting my screen share back on. All right. Is it back up? Yep.
Yes.
Can someone just confirm the screen share is back up? Okay, thank you. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of different aspects to this question going forward, and a lot of different ways people are going to come to this alternate reality game, as we'll find out based on those answers alone. So the next thing I want to do is I want to just go around in a circle. I'm going to stop my screen share in a second. I want to just ask everyone, if you had 20 minutes to create something, some kind of artifact or content, what might be some of the ways you would do that? So are there people here that love to write, create videos, create graphic designs, create memes, create drawings, all of those different things? So you might say, well, I love to write, so I might try writing poetry. I used to work in marketing. I love communication, so perhaps I would create taglines. I'm really good at drawing. I love graphic design. So I just want to go in a quick circle and get everyone's perspective. If you had 20 minutes to do an exercise and you were going to do something creative in your own space for 20 minutes and sort of put some music on, what kind of thing might you think of doing? Jamin, I guess I'll call on people just to keep it easy for him. Jamin, how about you?
Number one, conversation. I love creating conversation and also marketing slogans and just marketing strategy. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thank you. Jay, how about you? If you got creative.
I would, it would probably revolve around putting interesting ingredients together in the kitchen and sharing that with people, as well as finding whether they are any time of year things from outside and turning them into, a display of some kind, whether that's, dead sticks in the yard or blooming flowers, anything, any combination of great elements from nature can be included as a bouquet, bringing some beauty.
Okay, how about you, Shannon? You're on mute.
Thank
You're
you.
on mute, Shannon.
I'm not anymore. I would probably write something, or I would pull a few cards. I'm a tarot reader. So there you go.
Cool, nice. How about you, Sean?
Probably make a song and dance and get into it like that.
Nice. James, how about you, my friend?
Well, as an artist, I do something creative most days, so it'll just depend on what my frame of mind is. So it could go from anything to painting, sculpture, doing penging art forms, wood carving, gardening, cooking, reading, anything. But it's constructive. It's doing it with my hands and with my heart and with the emotions that I'm feeling at the time.
Nice.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Danny?
I am a writer, but I don't know that I would choose to do that. So I'm open because, I would try anything really.
Cool. How about you, So?
My son's going to say what he do first, and then I'll say me.
Okay, at the minute I'm creating copper bracelets and jewellery, so I'd probably just get on with that.
And I'd make a badge with something snappy on it so that when I go around, everybody can say, what does that mean?
Cool. And Mark, if you're there, I'm not sure if you're listening or not.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would work on the invisible structures of a new economy. Something where we start working with some of the higher frequency incentives like gratitude, compassion, you know, I'm reminded of David Bohm and the wholeness in the implicate order, which you recently reviewed last year, Bret. If we had an economy based on the invisible structures instead of the material structures, I think we'd be far better off.
And how might you do that in 20 minutes? If you had to start creating something, would you write about it or like paint the picture or just think about it?
I have dialogue groups working on it as we speak.
Cool. All right, good. Thanks everyone for sharing. I just like to find out like what people's passions are generally and like what skills they have and what they love to do. Oh, did my internet go?
What happened?
Is my internet? Am I back?
And jump in, sweetie, if you want.
Yeah, that's
Am I back?
Yeah,
you're
Oh,
back.
did I miss?
And also Melissa.
I missed Melissa.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I'm kind of like James. I'm an artist, so I'm always creating things. And but to answer your question, in 20 minutes, I would create the signage that I talked about in the segment before this, with the words to bring a change in consciousness. And then I'd plant them along the roadways.
Nice. This is going to get so epic as we go through the weeks and months. All right, I'm going back to my screen share. Can you see it, Jamin?
Yep.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. All right. So next, I want to just do a little brief thing here so people understand a little bit about what an actual alternate reality game is. So this is the wiki definition of an alternate reality game. I guess you can all take a second to read it. I'll read it out loud as well. An alternate reality game is an interactive network narrative that uses the real world as a platform and employs transmedia storytelling to deliver a story that may be altered by a player's ideas or actions. So one of the reasons I'm asking all of you, and why when I continue to learn how to do these workshops, I'm asking people about the different skills and passions they have, is because this is about transmedia storytelling. So there's many different ways to contribute and tell your part of this story. I would even go further to say it's transmedium, all the mediums. So like sculpture, all these different things. So not just internet type of media, like blog posting or emails or social media. So there's all these different ways to participate in an alternate reality game and play your role. This is a video. So this, I don't always do this, but I felt like on this occasion I wanted to. This is only a 7-minute video. I feel like it goes pretty quick. And I think it's really important. So basically in 2007, they did an alternate reality game called World Without Oil. So number one, this super inspired me as a concept. That's why I came up with World Without Money. It was also one of the first instances really of an alternate reality game being in service to humanity, to being what the guy called a serious game, who created this, who I also spoke to and got some of his insight and wisdoms. Up until this time of 2007, and mostly to this day, alternate reality games are mostly used for marketing and promotions. And I've talked to 2 people who have pioneered these games, and they've both said the same thing to me, which I think is interesting, that alternate reality games have only scratched the surface of what they're actually possible to accomplish in the world. So one of the reasons I'm interested in this, and I think it's important to the conversation even, Jamin, and to the creativity and the art activism that we were talking about in the last section, is that alternate reality games can indeed be a form of activism, and a strong, strong form of activism, because they rely on collective wisdom, collective imagination, and basically backcasting to the future we want to get to, for lack of a better word. So I'm going to play this video because really, I want everyone to see and understand what they did, because really it's about taking a 2020 version of this to some degree. This is what it's going to kind of look like just from a 2020 version with the different media outlets we have. But the way they went about it, I thought it was really powerful. So I'm just going to hit play and someone shout up if it's just not working. Sometimes these don't work. Oh, no sound. Are you getting sound?
Yeah, we can hear the sound, Bret. We can hear it.
Okay, I'm going to play it.
Gas prices jumped to over $4 a gallon.
There is very much a police state going on in the streets now. One way or the other, we're all in this together.
This is our local farmers market.
This is the Jink. This is peak profit.
Cal here.
Bret, it's
The story is that there's the onset of a global oil shock. A group of people have received notification that the shock is going to come on, but they do have a little bit of time to prepare. And what they prepare is the World Without Oil website at worldwithoutoil.org. And they want to collect the stories from everyone who's going through the oil shock. They want to hear what people are experiencing, and so they invite people to essentially write in.
The goal of the game was to have normal people, ordinary citizens from all around the world tell their story, what their life would be like in a world without oil. And by collecting all of these individual stories, we could paint a future landscape that would really use the collective wisdom of the people on the internet to think about the challenges we might face and some of the solutions we could use to solve an oil crisis.
ITVS has been promoting innovative public television for over 16 years. And we wanted to take the next step to talk about new ways of telling stories. World Without Oil was an amazing project. It was innovative, it was smart, it promoted social issues, it hit all the marks of our mission. And plus, it was a game. And on top of that, it was an alternate reality game.
Alternate reality games are different from most computer games or most video games. The most important thing about them is that it's not role play, it's real play. You're not playing a character, you don't have a little 3D avatar. In the game, you're yourself. And you talk about your own life and your own everyday circumstances, except you talk about them as if the fiction of the game were true.
We are nearing the end of week 5 of the 2007 oil crisis.
People were able to participate in World Without Oil kind of through their favorite communication method. A lot of people blogged, other people made videos. There were a lot of people who just played by email. You could phone in.
We can rebuild the resources we had before, we just can't use oil.
And then people also created images or put together image series kind of showing what was going on in a world without oil.
I think the players made it a lot more interesting than we ever could. With all the different viewpoints, and some wrote about how their lives had barely changed at all, and others had guns and built a wall around their city.
I decided to do a comic dealing with the problems and events that arose due to the oil shortage. I just sort of came up with the idea of being able to see it through the eyes of or regular college students that are just trying to get by.
ITVS's mission has always been to give unheard people a voice and also to spark public discourse about these subjects and to encourage public debate. And World Without Oil accomplished this in so many ways. It was a project that engaged people from all over the world. It broke down all kinds of borders. We had people who participated from Australia, the UK, Iraq, Japan, from all corners of the globe.
People were really dealing with their futures. That's the way they saw it. And they brought that sort of earnestness to the game. They were engaged with this as an exercise in imagining a future, playing it so that we don't have to live it.
Exclusively. So what we've done is converted most of our backyard and even part of the front yard into food production. So I'm going to take a second to show you that.
And so the power of having people live in this alternate reality is that they have to change the way they live their lives. They're not simulating it in a 3D immersive environment. They're simulating it in their own lives, changing how they commute to work, changing how they prepare dinner, how they go out on dates. And so an alternate reality game, it's not just thinking about change, it's actually making change, but in a really fun context where lots of other people around the world are making changes too.
The participation with World Without Oil was phenomenal. In just 32 days, we had over 1,500 submissions, and there were 60,000 participants from all over the globe.
I think we definitely showed that players will engage with serious issues. People will think about important topics, social topics, political topics that might not ordinarily engage them, but in the context of a game, they will engage.
Games just really have that ability to cut through differences, and we certainly saw that with World Without Oil, and I really hope that other organizations use that ability of games to essentially bring people of all different types together in kind of a shared environment, thinking about a common future. That's really the potential we were going for with World Without Oil.
Okay. Can everyone hear me again?
Yeah.
Yep. First of all, thank you for watching. I know it's in the flow, but I wanted to do a quick round. I just want to say, you see, when I watch that, I get super psyched up. I get super excited thinking about all of our networks. World Unity Week, Jamin, Unified Network gets 5,000 people to take part in meditations on Facebook. And all of our networks and our various networks and all the friends we have. And I'm like, before we get into, I know World Without Money can confuse some people or they have different opinions, but just the idea of rallying around this question or conversation, this alternate reality game, I just feel so excited when I think of what's possible and what they did back then with 2007 technology and the creativity we have here among all of us. I mean, the people we just spoke to, the different talents of filmmaking, it's like we can act as if. So anyway, I just wanted to go around. Does anyone have any responses to the video? Did you find it useful? Did you get it? Did you like it? Anything?
Go ahead, sweetie.
Go ahead, Jane.
Yeah, go ahead.
I loved it. Oh my goodness. No, I am just so excited. And I really see this medium and this network of conversations as really the nervous system of a world without money, of us communicating, and to keep this money free, right? Keeping the collective intelligence money free has been a goal that became super clear several months ago. And also it's inspiring me that we mash this up with a world without stupidity. Because what we're creating here with, with collective superintelligence, we are eradicating stupidity. Because if I have a dumb idea, Shant or Jay is going to shoot it down and we go on to a good idea, right? Anyway. Love it. Love, love,
Yeah.
love. Woo! This is blowing my mind. This is better than I expected, and I expected a lot from you, Bret. So great stuff, man.
Melissa, did you have a thought? Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to be positive, but it's going to sound negative, okay? Because I get really hung up. Maybe it's because I'm a visual artist on words. And so for me, the fact that it's
Yeah.
an alternative reality bothers me. And the idea
Alternate.
of alternate reality. Oh, okay. And gaming,
Mhm.
just that word gaming bothers me. But I do like the idea of it being fun and playful and co-creative. I think that's really great. And what convinced me were the comments at the end, where people weren't just playing a game and then you turn your computer off and you go back to business as usual. So what convinced me were the comments at the end where people said, this really changed my life. Now I'm doing ... Because that's what we want to happen. We want it to be followed up by positive action. So I think we should try something like that. Well, I guess we are already trying something like that, but I mean, yeah. ... Thanks.
Cool. Yeah. Well, this is just to be clear for everyone. The context is this thing is not like launching officially, I think, till the end of the year. So what I'm doing now is trying to gather some like intel, collective intelligence, simultaneously co-designing it and getting feedback, and then simultaneously for people who are into it, creating some content. So when we launch, for the next few months, when we actually launches, if we have all of this content already, all of these signs and videos and trailers, it just makes the job easier because we're launching without a blank slate. We've got all of this sort of material to start sharing around. And then some people might be interested in actually co-creating the actual design of the game. So there's a difference between creating content to promote it and get people to want to help create it, and then creating content that's actually like you saw in the video, like people going out and doing news reports or creating comics. So there's kind of a chicken and the egg thing that I'm working with at the moment. Did anyone else have anything they want to share about the video?
Can I just say one more thing
Nope.
after what you said, Bret, if that's okay with
Mhm.
everyone? We have so
Yeah,
much, I'm going to use this word, shit, going down in the world, excuse me, that I don't think we have to pretend anymore. It's not like, well, we have to pretend that police are killing people of color. This is really happening. So I think that the reportage, the reports and the stories should be real stories, not made up stories, because there's enough bad going on. I can just walk down to the beach here and find a dead whale on the beach, and we can talk about PCBs in the ocean and sonar testing, et cetera. And so I think we need to make this a reality-based reality game, if you like, so that people aren't, concocting stories, but let's look at the facts, let's look at the truth, and then let's do something about it. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a little bit of a different premise. That was their premise. First of all, was scarcity. Oil was running out, and how were people responding to that emergency and that shock and that scarcity, number one. So we're going to change. I think we're going to take a different tack, a little bit different tack than that. And second of all, it's going to be much easier for us. I see a convergence. There's people already working on solutions, like you're saying, already experiencing this, who have been transitioning themselves to a world without money already. And all the permaculture solutions and the conversation solutions and the hemp solutions. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be able to say, it's happening. This is how we did it. And I'm going to show you later, because we're going to work with a tiny bit of a prompt, like a setting, like they did there. They had a prompt basically that allowed people to respond. And then we also still want to engage people that will have no clue what most of us are talking about with permaculture and this and that. Like I want my mom and dad to also be able to call the hotline or to, send an email. So it's about how we can create enough of a prompt that allows people to share their fears and hopes, just like Carol on the last call. We also want people to be sharing like how they got to that point. Like it was scary. I hated white people. I hated rich people. But I learned through permaculture and through meeting new people that this was possible, et cetera, et cetera. So, so yeah, I'll show you the prompt in a minute, like that we'll be working with, that I'm still refining, but it's a different prompt than the oil, where we've run out of oil. It's much more positive in a sense, the actual prompt. Does anyone else want to share a reflection on the video? If not, okay. I'm just gonna share my screen again. Okay. Oh, sorry. Am I back?
Yes.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. So I'm sorry. Just lost my my panel here. Fine. Okay. So what I wanted to do is have an active exercise. So it wasn't all just talking and conversation that way and presenting. So I'm going to open the space in a minute for a 20-minute session, and I'm going to still give a little more context, so don't worry about that. So I've got here, if you prefer not to participate, that's cool. You can either come back in 20 minutes or just listen or turn off your camera. Some of us can continue talking. If nobody wants to do the content creation, then I guess we'll just skip that. If a few people are willing to do it, then we'll just have them turn off their sound or whatever so they can concentrate. Last time I did this, I started writing a song. I'm not a great musician, but that's what I did. Before we start, okay, so before we do that, I just wanted to share with you. These are some of the assets, from this world without oil. So these are the kind of things like people can create. They can create a logo with a saying on it. Some of you who might like to write can think of what would somebody be saying about the world without oil alternate reality game a year after it happened. Like what kind of headlines might there be? So that's another thing that is kind of easier to do in 20 minutes, like write a couple posts, like you're from a culture, from a blog or whatever. This is something I did this once last week on Sunday. So one of our participants created this. It was kind of like backcasting and showing the communication between time periods. Marina, who is one of my co-facilitators of this project, created a little, sorry, it didn't work. She created a little GIF. It says, imagine a world without money. This is an example of a banner that my wife created for me so people can create graphics or banners. Ron created this for me. I love this one. Astronauts on the moon join celebrations as world without money approaches.
Brett?
This is a little one I created. Ron created this. So I'm just saying, yeah.
Oh, no, it just took a while for the images to
Did I
catch
lose
up.
you?
Yeah, no, I'm here. It just took a while for the images
all right.
to catch up. Your
I'm
word.
I'm off the screen share anyway.
Tech, isn't it wonderful?
It's my internet. Am I back now?
I can hear you.
You're still screen sharing. It's extremely pixelated, but you're screen sharing.
Okay. Well, if you saw any of those images, they were just examples of different things or different ways you might just to inspire people. There's different ways to contribute in 20 minutes just to get your creative juices flowing. So obviously, there's no right or wrong here with creativity. If you want to take participation, nothing has to be produced. Maybe you can create something that gives you an idea that you can work on over time or through another workshop we do. So there's no pressure to do anything. You don't need to create a finished product. So basically, this is the prompt that we're going to work with. I'm just going to read it here, and then I'm going to leave it on the screen, and then I'm obviously going to first ask if anybody wants to try this for 20 minutes. I'm actually going to do it just like to follow my own process. If everyone else wants to talk, I'm still going to do it. Like just to do it, and then everyone else could have a conversation about what this all means to them.
Oh, okay. Brett, just so
But
you
this
know,
is the
it was insanely pixelated, and now it's just very, very pixelated. We can anyway. Well, now it's getting better.
My internet. Hold on.
Yeah, no, it's getting better. So I would do nothing and just let it be, because it's getting better progressively. So back to you, Brett.
It's my internet. Thank you everyone for your patience. I'm having trouble with my internet. So this is the prompt I'm working with right now. The story is that there's been a transition to a world without money coming for years, which is accompanied by global celebrations of all kinds. There's a group of people who have received notification that the time for the final announcement is coming, and the full preparations are happening for all of these celebrations. and they have a little bit of time to share the news. So what they do is they create a World Without Money website, and they start collecting stories from everyone who's going through the shock and the excitement. They want to hear what people are experiencing, so they invite people to essentially share stories of all kinds through writing in and creating materials like in the video you saw, and sharing all of these expressions. So really the goal of the game right now, Melissa, is to have normal people, ordinary citizens from around the world tell their story, what their life would be like in a world without money, and what the celebrations would be like. And by collecting all of these stories, we can paint a future landscape that will really use the collective wisdom of the people to think about the challenges we might have faced getting there and some of the solutions we use to make this a reality. So we're basically in the final days. It's the final week, final month, where the transition is actually happening, and we're planning global celebrations everywhere. So we're going to heal and celebrate that it's actually here. Is anybody up for trying a 20-minute segment where you create any kind of piece of artifact or art related to what you've seen? Or it's all an experiment. I'm just learning how to do this. So
yes, and yes.
I will do that, but I can't really see the writing. I'll have to enlarge it, I think. Okay. I'll do it.
Okay.
And Bret, I don't mind doing it, but I got to go to my studio to do something because that's where all my materials are. So I'm going to head on over there and I'll catch you guys at the other end.
Lovely.
It's exactly the top of the hour, 20 minutes.
Right. Is it? I didn't catch it all.
Yep.
Okay. Is it any medium, this creative thing? Any medium?
Any medium.
Yep.
Yep.
Any medium. Okay.
Well, I've only one. I have only one hand, but I only need one hand at the moment to paint with, so I'll have a lash off something anyway.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. I mean, really, it's also just an opportunity to break out of our call of always talking and just get creative. So, I mean, just have a good time, and we'll be here for 20 minutes.
Talk to me, Bret.
Dude, Bret, brilliant, man. Holy crap. I'm just loving this. Everything about it, the music, everything. And welcome, Peter. And welcome back, Melissa. And anyway, back to you, Bret. Sorry. And Peter, let me just give Peter a little heads up. The schedule got pushed a little bit, but it's actually a really good thing because the exercise we're in the middle of right now is just brilliant. You'll love it, Peter. Go ahead, Bret.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of do a final 20-minute run here of just sharing a little bit about our experience instead of going too far. Like, I'd rather end on a high note. Thank you, everyone, for maybe doing something different, participating. I know even for me, I'm always like networking and working and stuff. So even for me, this 20 minutes to just like get creative on this thing that I'm trying to create is even brilliant for me. So I'm just really thankful that you guys all chose to participate and hang out and do this. Peter needs to get back in the room. Okay. So we're basically, hi, Peter.
Hello.
Peter.
Hello, hello.
I don't know if you heard my last comment. Okay, Peter's underwater, but that's all right. When he merges, it'll be good.
Where am I? Okay, am I back on? Yeah. Audio?
Yeah, you're on. You're good.
Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna just take a little bit of time for those interested in.
I am driving.
Okay. Is he frozen for you too? Oh, there he is. We got you, Peter.
Anyway, let's let just Peter do his underwater journey, and it'll be okay. All right, go ahead, Bret.
Yeah, so we're just gonna have an opportunity, if you so wish, to share either how you felt about the experience, what you created. If you want to share, if you can show something or read it, it's up to you. Does anyone feel like going first, or yeah?
I'll share.
Okay, go ahead, Danny.
So I did played with my little iMovie thing since I do everything on the phone, it seems. Do
Nice.
I just hit the share content? It's like 20 seconds.
Yeah, I imagine so. I don't really know. Just give it a try. Let's see.
All right, let me try that one more time. All right, somebody else go first. Let me come back. I figured this out.
No
Sorry.
problem. No problem. Thank you for trying. Anyone else want to go next? Jamie, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read some excerpts from an article that I wrote from the future, and it's a story about how this all came to be. And there's a group, probably us, that said, we started with one town and asked, what would it take for this town to be totally self-sufficient with no money? We set out looking for a town which was basically economically devastated and people were leaving and it was kind of becoming a ghost town. And we said, okay, well, if we can't use money, what can we use? And the answer sprang forth. Intelligence, collective intelligence, collective superintelligence. And we simply made the rule, no money. People can come and donate themselves, donate time, volunteer, even donate stuff. And the one exception that we let for money was that people could buy land and donate it to the commons, and that's it. No strings attached, no ownership. Well, it turned out there were hundreds of thousands of people who dove in, and a collective from all around the world, a collective superintelligence was created, focused on this one town. Population of the town, 300. Number of people focused on optimizing the town, hundreds of thousands. And you know, and the questions are, okay, well, what are the town's assets? Where are the farms? How can we make this wildly successful? So the collective intelligence got to work. Tell me if I'm going on too long. And
Okay.
it hit upon a revolutionary idea that the transformation to a world without money is coming. And what if we looked at this like the computer revolution and basically said, hey, what if we see this as a massive opportunity for folks who jump in early to distinguish themselves as pioneers? But not because they're making a bunch of money, but because they're making a bunch of relationships, connections, friendships. They're innovating and basically being the architects of a new world. Yes, Shannon.
You're on mute.
You're on
Shannon.
mute, Shannon.
I'm next, is what I was saying. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jamin. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's
I
okay.
really liked what you were saying, and I'm going to take it one step further. I believe. Now, I do tarot reading, and so I allowed Spirit to inform what was going on here. And what I was told is that choosing to embody our greatest expression, we are guided by the one within us. And I really liked that. And so I encourage all of you, listen inside, because that's where you're going to find your answers. That's all.
Thank you.
Hey, Bret, can I address something?
Sorry. Did you want me to read something out, Bret?
I just want to have Jamin finish his point there, and then so next to you.
Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to address Peter's concern that this time slot was for the conversation. And Peter, what I tried to mention earlier was we had gone way over time on the Divine Feminine, cutting into Bret's time. So I said, I promised Bret that we could go a bit over here. And another thing I wanted to add was that this conversation is actually brilliant for the conversation. And most of the people here are here because of Bret's conversation. So it's not like people are showing up saying, hey, what the hell, we're supposed to have the conversation. Why is that not happening? Everyone's like really psyched for what we're doing here. So my recommendation is let's just go with it for another 20, 30 minutes, whatever it is. Peter, if you object, just jump in and we'll talk about it. Back to you, Bret.
Cool. Yeah, we're not gonna overdo it, but I guess I feel like it's a decent bridge to the conversation. So yeah.
Well, that's all wonderful. I just wanted the framing to understand, and that at least when people do come expecting the conversation, that every few minutes or so while we're finishing Bret's package, that's mentioned, right? That we're wrapping up a previous show, and that this does tie in, and please stick around.
Totally agree. Totally agree. We'll do that.
Yep, totally. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, right. I've got to. Oh, what's happened?
Now you're on mute, so. Did we lose So maybe?
So you're on mute. I don't know. Maybe she was just letting us know she had to break away or something. Who knows?
Okay. We'll go to Danny then, and so if you're listening, we'll come back to you. Yep, she dropped out. Okay, go ahead, Danny. If you said you might be ready, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Oh wow. Nope. Nope. Sorry, I'm having technical issues.
That's okay. Anyone else would like to share in the moment? Melissa? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if I'm going to be garbled or not. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah.
So far, so good.
Okay. So this is my installation. This is an ongoing installation that I made for no money. And I added a salmon and a bubble up here. It says a world without money looks like this. So this is a healthy ecosystem. This is the result of us not following the money trail, because when we follow the heart trail, we're going to stop polluting. We're not going to use single-use plastics. We're not going to pour anything that would hurt any living being into the water. And so I'm on this trail here, a world without money, and I'm building one salmon and one jellyfish and one everything at a time, and it's all made of repurposed materials. And I think it speaks for itself. So thanks, Brett. This has been really fun and really informative.
Thank you so much for bringing your art into the space. I feel so happy. And just as a side note, Jamin, for me, like this is one of the conversations I'm wanting to be having in the network of conversations, although in the framing of the alternate reality game in a sense, because we're playing it now, you know what I mean? It's not the same as that world without video oil because it's not official, but we are right now playing the pregame, you know, by sharing these things. So I'm very excited and very thankful. Jay, do you have something or no? You might want to share? I'm just going to call on people to make it easy.
Brett, can I just say my connection went? It just like went completely. So I'll come in after other people.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
I can give this one more time. Ooh, you got it.
Go ahead, Jay.
Are you waiting on me there, Brett?
Oh, somebody go.
Oh, sorry,
Jay,
I thought you were saying Jim.
Yeah, I'm sorry, James and Jay. Yes, I can be more pronounced. Jay, you're not coming through if you're talking. I wasn't quite sure.
I am talking and I'm trying to share my screen, but it does not want to actually show up.
Okay.
So what I did in lieu of that is I put, this is a shrunk version of it, not a very good version, as my image. Instead of, so this was a full width sort of header for a event on Facebook or a page header. Basically, everything equals input as a concept of world without money. So where we, instead of measuring things as, you know, input and output, being really truly measuring everything as an input and looking at the benefit that it gives. You know, for example, when you take a breath, you're taking a breath in and you are, you know, enhancing the life cycle in your body and, you know, doing the exchange of oxygen and all of that with your blood. And when you exhale, you know, you are actually an input to the rest of the world. So.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I'll put my email in the chat if people want to send me things like that. If you'd like to share it, I'm more than happy to include it in on the Facebook page and use it. I mean, just get it out there and just use it. That's what's part of the brilliant thing. So people, you don't have to do that. There's no expectations, but anyone's welcome to share their stuff with me, knowing that it's a gift to the game and you can put a license on it, like for open source or whatever, Creative Commons or not. But once you send it in, it's sort of a gift, you know. Let's try So again. Let's see if you got it.
Because my connection went, I wrote it all into the chat. And then people kept interrupting the chat, so it's done in, I think it's done in like 3 chunks, but I haven't got it because unless you can put it back on my chat, then I could see what I've put.
Yep. Can somebody copy and paste that and send it to her privately, like her thing? And then in the meantime, you're on. Okay.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm just going to see who else wants to share. Danny, do you have your thing queued up or did it not work still?
I think I got it. Give me a sec.
We have a screen share. Let's see.
Yay.
There it is.
Do you click your own?
Yep.
Oh, the sound didn't come through. Bummer. Well, it's a happy little video.
Cool. Well, I'll leave my email. See if you can send it to, if you want, and I can at least share it among you.
Sure. ends with fear.
Try hitting. Okay. All right. Thank you for trying, Danny. I really appreciate it. James, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Well, if you can call it something. Sorry, I don't know. I have only one hand, so.
I know.
This is a print I just, it's, this will be, we say, the negative existence we're coming from now. And if you can kind of make out there's a rough hand shape pushing through the image, through the negative image, trying to push through to a more positive image. And the print that it came off of, then this is what the positive image it came off of. So, you know, we're transferring from a negative past to a positive future. So basically, it's the best I could do with one hand in it.
Beautiful. Amazing. I feel so happy and lucky. This is such a different thing from my normal Zoom calls where we're only talking, like people showing their skills and their gifts. I'm finding this quite amazing, really. So did you get the, did you get?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Here we
Cool.
are then.
Yeah.
Some find it hard. The hoarders and gold collectors developed strange neurotic symptoms and perversions. One of the chief perversions was obsessive compulsive digging and collecting shovels and the discarded pitchforks from the Stop the Money moment. The neuroses were verging on artistic. People were building Monopoly boards and having sex on top of them. All day sex for Christ's fucking sake. The creatives were strangely at a loss in the first instance, as they had nothing to oppose. Al Gore and the money lusters had been a large motivator for their creative acts. At last, one artist built an Al Gore and painted it gold. The plan was to grow beets in the model's ears. Others were predictably carving vegetables. Things developed. Wild animals were brought into the conversation, and there were regular language exchanges. Raccoons were quicker at learning to speak human than the humans were to speak raccoon. Occasionally, there were fallow moments. These moments yielded new art forms like dancing up green walls with great elegance and panache. Every space on the body was contemplated. Body groove art became a thing. Armpits between toes, all the folds and places between. The singer's discarded tune, grunting, was popular, as was twiglet swishing and fire ash patterning games. The days merged. Night art was another popular manifestation. Former hoarders went through a vicious game of robbing nut collections from squirrels and squeezing mulberries with their fists and generally smearing in a primitive preschool baby art. A small group of former business leaders were depressed. Bill Gates kept taking it out on Melinda and hogging the toilet. She called him toilet hoarder.
That's so good. That's so good. I got to tell you, I just got to repeat my favorite line here. Where was it? Where'd it go? The neuroses were verging on artistic. That I don't think that's ever going to leave me. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mark, do you have anything?
Sure. Thanks again, Bret. This is brilliant stuff, as usual. You use the word backcasting, and it's something that I've been using for a while, but I have a new form of like working with Julia Mossbridge out of the Institute for Love and Time. She's also part of the Center for Integral Studies at in California. And what I do for backcasting is something that I think will play into this shift, where this phase shift in humanity. So if we picture that world without money, and then give gratitude to all the wisdom that we've experienced already, give gratitude to all of the present day beings that we are sharing this experience right now with. And then listen to the world without money beings and listen why they're grateful for what we did. And when you listen carefully from the future, that particular type of future, that a future where they are grateful for what we did now, you'll get the most amazing downloads of the steps we took, the inspirations we had, the creativity that came out. That's where inspiration can come from. It can come from other dimensions. It can come from a future timeline. But using gratitude, which I call a timeless protocol, has less baggage than even love, because love has some baggage. Unconditional love is the only way I use love anymore. That keeps it a timeless protocol. But all of these things that don't know space-time, or at least linear space-time, are really useful for pulling things into reality, manifesting them. So I suggest this is how we might manifest the world without money, is by calling in all the beautiful things we did to get there.
Awesome. Thank you. Shant, if you're still there and you'd like to share, just shout out. All right, I'm assuming Shant is not there. I'll just share a couple of mine real quick, and then I'll just open the space to sort of end this session by having everyone share if they want to share a reflection on anything anyone else has shared, you know. So let me see real quick. I wanted to use my laptop, but since I was sharing my screen and all that, I was like, oh, I'm not going to use it, so I'll just write this stuff down. I'm excited to take a bunch of images and things that people have already started creating and then put them to the music by David Bowie called Memory of a Free Festival. So this song by David Bowie, who I just love anyway, it's always really gotten to me. It's called Memory of a Free Festival. And I've always said, like, when we have these events and these celebrations, I want it in homage to David Bowie. They're going to be called like Memory of a Free Festival. So I was just thinking it'd be fun to take a lot of these images people have created and just create an old-fashioned, I mean, it won't have anything to do with the song, so to say, but anyway, just starting to think like that, like taking the artwork people already are creating and then remixing it and all that.
Bret,
yeah.
my son made a bracelet, but it's not fully in the picture. It's out of scrap copper, and it's up in my picture. So, yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, very nice. Wow, that was quick. Amazing. Let's see. And then I thought of some slogans like a world without money is not a world without products, goods, and services, because I don't want people to get confused thinking a world without money doesn't mean we don't have a world without, like products, goods, and services are still going to get created, but they're going to get created in a much different way and shared in a much different way. So I created some of those. I don't need to read. Some more memes. Bunch of memes. My world. I'll just leave it at that. I don't need to share all these things I wrote down. Let's just have a quick share, popcorn style, if anybody wants to give thanks or just reflect on something someone created or shared or the overall experience. We're going to sort of phase out now the next few minutes. So kind of an open space to just share about the experience or what other people created or whatnot.
Bret, I like the not having to think and just creating. I had 3 minutes left at the end, but that was because my fingers were aching and I was doing it from a very awkward position. But I like not even knowing myself what is coming out. I love a tight deadline. So thank you. That was good.
Thank you.
I love and have always loved seeing what in multiples of people's create on one word or one theme and just the diversity. So that was super fun to see all the different interpretations of what you asked us to create. And it was, again, super fun. Bret, thank you so much for being a bright, shiny light and bringing us into this co-creative process together. Thank you, love.
Thank you so much.
Also love.
obviously, Jamin, from the super collective intelligence standpoint, that, you know, the first thing that comes to my mind is imagine when thousands of people are just doing this exercise or some version of it all over the planet. I mean, that's my goal as far as my dream, because I wanted to help the world. But I mean, there was so much diversity just here, like memes, graphics, poetry, prose, you know, like installation. And this is among 6 people that didn't even know what they were doing before they got on the call. So and my visionary like mind always is like, oh my God, yes, like let's do this. So again, just thanks to everybody for participating.
And if I can jump in,
yeah, I would really.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I really enjoyed the process and the challenge of creating something and seeing and hearing the diversity of people's experiences too, and where some of them were created from scratch and others were sort of, you know, additions to, you know, what's already going on in their mind, and really like sharing that and expanding on it so that it can be enhanced and brought out in a much bigger way. So thank you for facilitating and doing it.
Thank you, Jay. Or anyone else? Any final thoughts or reflections? Yep. Go ahead, Jamin.
Yeah. First of all, I just wanted to apologize. I got distracted the last 5-10 minutes with something urgent related to what we're doing, kicking off tomorrow. But anyway,
okay, no problem.
I found this to be absolutely super insanely cool. And what I'm feeling happen as we've done these creative projects in that 20-minute span, we're starting the process of unshackling ourselves and liberating ourselves from the tyranny of money and ownership and private property and domination. The shackles are starting to melt away in our own minds and hearts as we do this creative process. And then as we share it, oh my goodness, that's where the magic really kicks into high gear. So Bret, I think you are absolutely onto something here. I couldn't be more excited. I am in for the long haul. I am in to play, and I just couldn't be more excited. And hats off to you. Thank you so much. And I just love that we can all do this together. Whew, so fun.
Thank you for sharing space with me and my project on the block party too, my friend. All right. I'm going to simply say thanks again. Thanks again. This is a great learning experience for me, and thank you again for participating and showing me what's great about it, what can be different about it. And everyone is welcome, by the way, to keep creating. Take the prompts. You know, if you know people that like to facilitate these kind of things, I'm going to be looking for people to take the same material and just facilitate it in their own way, their own processes, and really get these things going in different time zones. And then we all just send our contributions to the one space, and we just create something out of it. And I guess, Jamin, is the general rule like this is a live video, so we could sort of edit it if we want and like cut out little pieces of people talking? How do we?
Yeah. So here's how it works. So we're recording now. I'll save it to my to the Radish YouTube channel as part of the Block Party series, Block Party 21, etc. And you can then download that video and do whatever you want with it, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think there's any, I think that's the cleanest way.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just thinking, do I need to ask permission? Like, I mean, should I was just thinking I could download it and literally like pull out, 2-minute segments of people talking about something and like put a little header on it. It's like, I've got this material already, but I don't want to do that, when people don't expect it or something. So maybe I'll do a couple examples and I'll just send them to a few people.
Well,
I don't know.
Or you can just ask people here, put your thumb up if you have my permission to take your material and edit it and whatever with it. You have my blessing, as far as I'm concerned. Cool. For my material anyway.
I'm totally down with you using any of my images, Bret. Happy to share.
And also, Bret, again, I was distracted for a couple of minutes there, but did you mention that this is an ongoing series?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so basically, I'm calling it a co-create-a-thon instead of a hackathon, because co-create-a-thons never end. It's a spiral, it's iterative, it's timeless. like we're in this, it's almost like the conversation space, James. Like we're in it now. Like I'm not saying it to like coin it, but I'm coining it. Like I'm landing it. We're in a co-create-a-thon, and it's like it has forks, it has spokes, it has emergence, and it's on, and it's never ending because it's timeless, and it's on. Like it's just on. So I just love the word anyway, a co-create-a-thon. So yeah, every Sunday I'm going to do this at 5 p.m. UK time. And then every Friday here with the block party at 7, I guess probably the same time. We'll look. So yeah, and many more, I hope. Yeah. Thank you. Melissa.
Yeah, Brett, I wanted to suggest, following on this morning's segment with Barry, Carol, and Malaz, what if you did one that was a world without racism and brought in our friends who are, of color and got their view of the world? Because we're all white here on this platform, and it's one particular aspect or viewpoint. And I just think that could be a really beautiful way to open up their voices to the world.
Well, number one, it's open for that kind of like spoking of it, They're more than welcome to obviously do this, because the world without money, the one thing I do like about it is no matter what color or religion you are, most people are interfacing with money. So it would be great to have their perspective on a world without money coming from where they're coming from 100%. I mean, obviously to not fragment it, but a world without racism, if that's something I would ask them. I mean, I don't want to start that. Like, that's not my gig to do. I would participate in it, but I'd be, like you're saying, I'd rather put the question to them. Does that even resonate for them? Or would they rather just express themselves through like world without money? But I'm open to anything. And I was sad that they weren't sticking around as artists, to participate in the actual activity just because they were all actually artists. So I hope they have another opportunity as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll contact them actually and ask them if they're interested, if you're down with that.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
And whatever you have for us to share, that'd be cool too, to have access to that.
Okay, we're complete, Jamin. The shift, you can start the shift, man.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I think all the people who are here for you. And so we don't really have a definite thing next other than in general discussing the conversation. So happy to shift to that, happy to take a break, or happy for us to continue the previous segment if you wanted to continue it a bit more. I know you got, shortchanged on the beginning, and A, I want to make that up to you, and B, I think everyone's really here for you at this point.
Well, I mean, Peter, I think everyone feels complete. I mean, I'll just leave it on more of a high note. And I also wanted to hear more about the conversation because I'm excited about that. I think that we had a good time. So I'll just say, yeah, leave it on a high note and we can kind of just transition.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So I'll tell you what, let me stop the current recording and then we can start a new recording.